脳天直撃セガサターン
伝説の剣をめぐる壮大なストーリーがついに幕を開ける6人同時までを楽しめる全く新しい格闘ロボ誕生ガーディアンヒーローズ
Sega.
Since the 80s, Konami has found success in the video game industry with their own hits like Frogger, Contra, Castlevania, and Metal Gear. Their biggest success for them came when they gained the license to work on video games based on the popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise, which had become one of the most popular franchises thanks to its cartoon series, line of toys, and of course, Konami's video games. Even Nintendo's notorious first game based on the series. Konami's reliance on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and sequels to some of their other franchises was discouraging to Konami employees like Masato Megawa, who felt that if we don't find the video game interesting ourselves, we won't be satisfied with it. Thus, he left Konami to form a new studio with other Konami employees who shared Megawa's vision for video game development. That studio would be named Treasure. To help Treasure set itself apart from the studio they left behind, Megawa stressed the importance of enjoying what is being developed. I strongly feel that a game should be created in an environment where the game is not forced upon the trends of the time, where it's not all about sales, and where the developers can have the freedom to develop games as they like. Treasure worked exclusively with Sega to produce games for their Genesis hardware. Their first games were McDonald's Treasureland Adventure and Gunstar Heroes. Both were developed at the same time, with Treasureland Adventure helping Treasure familiarize themselves with the Genesis hardware. Treasure would go on to make more hits for the Genesis: Dynamite Headdy, Yu Yu Hakusho, Alien Soldier, and Light Crusader. In 1994, Treasure would begin development on a game that would be meant for Sega's next generation console, and this game would be their most ambitious title to date. Treasure had quickly become one of Sega's top-tier developers, with Gunstar Heroes being widely regarded as one of the greatest games in the entire Genesis library. When it came time to develop for the next generation of consoles, a decision was made: adapt to 3D gaming, or stick with 2D gaming. Treasure believed that in a world that seemed to adapt heavily to 3D gaming, 2D gaming can still exist alongside what had become popular at the time. The risk was not choosing 2D over 3D. The risk was making something that had rarely been attempted: Guardian Heroes, a game Treasure described as a fighting RPG. Lead designer Tetsuhiko Kikuchi stated at the time that he was starting to feel like the kind of games he liked weren't being made anymore. Guardian Heroes would become the representation of the kind of game Kikuchi was looking for. Guardian Heroes would ultimately become a game inspired by beat-em-ups like Capcom's Alien vs. Predator, Villain Cafe's Mad Stalker Full Metal Force, and Sega's own Virtua Fighter. A game about feeling like a badass, in Kikuchi's own words, while beating up multiple enemies on screen. What separated Guardian Heroes from other similar games were the incorporated role-playing game elements. This was done simply to add more replay value and level variety to a genre that only had one starting point, one finishing point, and only one way to get there. The music in Guardian Heroes was also unique from what Treasure did for their previous games. Guardian Heroes was composed by Treasure's Katsuhiko Suzuki and Norio Hanzawa, who had worked on not only Treasure's previous titles, but also worked on music for Konami like Yume Penguin Monogatari, The Simpsons Arcade, and the Bucky O'Hare Arcade. In addition to those two composers, the score for Guardian Heroes got support from one of Japan's most popular electronic music performers and programmers, Hideki Matsutake. Matsutake originally started as an assistant for Isao Tomita, known for his works on the Kimba the White Lion series and his Grammy Award-nominated 1974 album, Snowflakes Are Dancing. Then, Matsutake would go on to be a synth programmer on the 1978 album Thousand Knives by Ryuichi Sakamoto, one of the founding members of Yellow Magic Orchestra, arguably Japan's most influential electronic music group of the Showa era. Matsutake would go on to form his own groups like Logic System and video game cover group Akihabara Electric Circus. Guardian Heroes would be the first and only time that Matsutake would make original contributions to a video game. With all these ambitious ideas thrown together, it seemed like Guardian Heroes would become another successful hit for Treasure, and a killer app for the Sega Saturn to help distinguish itself from the Sony PlayStation and the Nintendo 64. Guardian Heroes became one of the Sega Saturn's top-rated games. In 2008, IGN ranked the game as number 3 on their top 10 Saturn games. In 2021, GamesRadar ranked the game as number 6 on their top 25 Saturn games. In 2012, Screw Attack, currently known for their Death Battle series on Rooster Teeth, ranked the game as number 5 on their top 10 games in the beat-em-up genre. Guardian Heroes would receive a 2004 sequel on the Game Boy Advance titled Advanced Guardian Heroes. The sequel got a more mixed reception due to changing so much of what made the original work so well in the first place. In October 2011, Guardian Heroes received a remaster on the Xbox 360 through their Xbox Live Arcade store. The remaster would feature several new features including online co-op, new modes, a reworked script, ratio reformatting, an upscale of the graphics, and redrawn sprites and spells. Another new feature to the remaster would be the way the game allowed you to attack or dodge, based on the gameplay of Treasure's 2006 Nintendo DS fighting game, Bleach: The Blade of Fate. As of this production, the game can still be purchased on Xbox Live Arcade for both the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One consoles. Guardian Heroes continued Treasure's trend of developing games and new ideas that resonated with the designers themselves that weren't forced upon them by larger game studios. Treasure would become an early example of a group of developers branching away from bigger studios to form their own smaller studio to produce some of the most memorable games today. An early example of what an indie gaming studio was, showcasing that game design is more than just knowing how to make a game. It's about believing in your own ideas and philosophy so much that sometimes taking a chance on something is more beneficial than doing the same kind of games over and over.